evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for this evening's Yin practice. Tonight will be 1 hour, and I will take the poses right till the very end and then leave you as much time as you like at the end for Shavasana. I'm trying to switch up my classes a little bit with the timing, so some classes are longer than others. Some people seem to like a shorter class. So I have all my classes now on YouTube. Right after I take this class tonight, it will be up on YouTube, so feel free to take any of the classes there anytime you like and share the link so other people can enjoy them as well. And as per usual, I won't be sharing music anymore during my live classes, so that when I post them to YouTube there aren't any copyright issues. So feel free to follow me on Spotify, which is Tamara YVR, and I have lots and lots of playlists there. You can choose from any of them or play your own music or practice in peace without music. Tonight our practice will be focused on the idea of releasing and restoring. So lots of release of the hips, lots of opening of the heart to let the energy be released from those places and open ourselves up to new possibilities, new energy. And today I will pick a card from this beautiful deck called Living Peace. It's so simple but profound, the words that are here. Yesterday for the practice, the word was bliss, Ananda. It's one of my favorite words. Okay. Let's see. As you're setting yourself up, feel free to get some props, maybe like big cushions. I'm just using my couch cushions. I don't have anything very fancy except these 2 yoga blocks. And if you're wondering where to get yoga blocks, if you're still out and about, Winners sells yoga blocks for actually pretty inexpensive. They're about $5 or $6 each, sometimes even cheaper. So you can go down to Winners and get yourself some if you're nearby one. Okay, so the word today is benevolence. It's such a beautiful word. The card says, don't walk past an opportunity for generosity. Be willing to act on the desire to do good things without concern for reciprocity. I've noticed right now, I think more than ever, people are giving and giving and giving as much as they can in any way that they can. And I know earlier this evening, I was beautifully recognized for the yoga classes that I'm sharing. And someone has asked me, why are you sharing classes every day? And I feel like it's one of the things that I can do to give to our community, not with any expectation of return, but that knowing that we're all still connected and that we can all still find a chance to stay with this practice in this beautiful community that we've created. So let this practice be one of benevolence, one of where you're just giving to yourself with no expectation of return, but knowing that as you better yourself through your yoga practice, that you have the opportunity to share with others in many beautiful ways. So that being said, let's get started. Tonight we'll start in a reclined butterfly. It will be quite a long hold, so we'll have lots of time to move through some different aspects of the practice. I'm just going to check my camera to make sure it's okay. So take your time to get down onto your back. You can bring the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. You can use blocks under your outer thighs if you like. Palms can be any place that feels good beside you, out to the sides, palms facing up, maybe a hand on your heart, one on your abdomen to start with, or maybe you like cactus arms, or even clasping your opposite elbows overhead. So lots of different options here for an entry point into the posture. And as you're here for the first few breaths, start to connect with that breath. So notice where the breath is in your body. Notice any place where you might feel a little bit constricted. Don't try to force the breath or push the breath out or draw a deeper breath in. Just notice as you naturally inhale and exhale. Maybe take the first few moments to sigh out your mouth, a beautiful release, a signal to your nervous system to kick into the parasympathetic mode, to relax. So take as much time as you like to let some sounds out, some vibrations out. Maybe the Brahmari breath, a humming with the lips closed. And as you're ready, drop into your own deep breath, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. As an act of benevolence tonight for yourself, stay focused on your breath. See if you can watch and observe and feel the sensations of every inhalation and every exhalation traveling through your body and back out again. As your breath starts to deepen, see if you can connect with a personal intention for your practice tonight. Maybe the idea of benevolence, of giving unconditionally, true acts of love, or maybe it's something else that you'd like to connect with through this practice. And as well, I encourage you to find a collective intention, something for the greater good, a way that you can share out this benevolent act that you're giving to yourself tonight in any way that you see fit. And finally, as a beautiful layer for this practice, I always find it really wonderful to dedicate my practice out to someone or somewhere or something. And I know right now there are so many places and people and reasons to dedicate this practice. So maybe pick the one that stands out to you the most this evening. I'd like to dedicate this practice, I think actually every class that I teach right now, to all my wonderful yoga students. There are so many of you out there watching now or will watch later, or that I haven't had a chance to connect with since the studio's closed, but you know who you are and I love you all so much. So all of these classes are for you. So that's my way of staying connected and giving back. And finally, we'll enter into this practice by dropping down into a deep, universal, cosmic vibration, the sound of one Om. And the sound of Om becomes a very deep-rooted foundation for this practice. You can feel it vibrating, especially when you're lying on your back, all around you, encapsulating you in this beautiful energy. So feel free to keep your hands wherever they are. If it feels good to bring them over your heart, you can. We'll take a deep clearing breath to begin and then share one sound of Om, and from there you'll settle in for the last few minutes of the pose. Take a deep clearing breath, inhale. Sigh out your mouth, exhale. Inhale for Om. Om. Another deep breath in, and a full breath out. And if you have just joined, you're not sure where the class began, feel free to lay yourself down as we are in reclined butterfly pose, arms in any position that feels good for you, and relax and restore. Remembering that this practice is one where less is more, where there's no efforting, where there's simply being. Allowing this state of resting, digesting, and relaxing to be one of ease, one of familiarity, one that we can go to maybe more quickly than activating into the stress response. Let this be the starting point for all of our reactions. Every inhale breath, fill up the front body, feel wider, more buoyant, expansive. As you exhale, allow the back line of your body to feel supported and held, deeply rooted, connected. See if you can find an equanimous breath, an equal inhalation and exhalation, with maybe a slight pause at the top and end of each. that beautiful, brilliant moment of presence, that space between. Almost in this moment, you can experience your true essence. See if you can count off your last 4 or 5 deep breaths here in reclined butterfly. Slide out your mouth for the last few. Deep last inhale here. Full exhale, sigh. And as you're ready to release this pose, use your hands on your outer thighs. Let the blocks soften to the sides. Bring your knees together in toward your chest. And just 1 minute here, Apanasana, knees to chest. You're welcome to rock side to side or find stillness or maybe even take a tighter squeeze of those knees. One of the things I've been missing the most these days of isolation is reaching out and hugging people. I love to hug, hold hands, give someone a squeeze. Now we have to hug ourselves a little bit more. And take your last couple of breaths here, Apanasana, maybe even bring your forehead up toward your knees. And bringing your arms back down onto the mat, you can take cactus arms if you like, or a T shape. Tap your feet down just a little bit, jog your hips to the left side, and we'll bring the knees to the right. And if you would like to put a cushion in between your knees, you can. Your left arm can stay in a cactus shape, maybe your right arm comes to the top thigh. Feel free to pat up underneath your knees or in between, anything that feels good. And maybe even turn your gaze to the left side. And as you breathe, you feel that opening into the left rib cage. And as you exhale, that squeeze and release to release tension from the internal organs to give them a nice deep massage. Let's face it, that's the other thing I really miss about this isolation is having a massage. Oh, that might be the first thing I need to do when it becomes available. Deep breath in and a full breath out. And stay here in this supine twist, giving yourself a massage from the inside out. I don't know if you have puppies like I do, but they're sure getting a lot of extra massages these days. I think this isolation was meant for the dogs. Keep their people home. And as you're here in this twist, you can always go deeper. You're welcome to straighten out your bottom leg and bring that top knee further across. If that feels good for you. Sometimes it's nice to even extend the top leg straight. Press the outer left hip forward and down. Maybe you can hang on to your toes. So feel free to adjust as we hold these postures for time and the fascia starts to loosen up, starts to release and melt just a little. Maybe you can go deeper. But again, there's no forcing or pushing or efforting. It's just easeful transitions maybe into a deeper level of the pose. Keep coming back to your intention, your dedication, your breath. Most important in any yoga practice is to stay present. Use the power of your breath for that. Let the breath be your anchor. Every breath you take, every conscious breath you take means that you're bringing your awareness to the moment. See if you can count off 10 more deep breaths in this twist, knees to the right side, maybe gazing to the left. And for the last little bit of the pose, any way that you'd like to go deeper or even to come out of the pose, you always can. Last few breaths here. Take your last deep inhale. Nice long exhale. Bring your hands down beside you. Use them as support to bring yourself back through center. You might need to tap your hips down and feet down to realign. Bring your knees back in toward your chest, and we'll take half happy baby with the left foot. So use your elbow on the inside of your left knee. Wrap your left fingertips around the outer edge of your left foot. Let your right foot drop to the mat. Maybe your knee opens up a little bit to the side. Might be rolling to the outer blade of your right foot. As you draw your left knee down in toward the left armpit, or even a little bit out to the left, press your foot up to the sky and use your hand to press down at the same time. You're welcome to stay right here. Maybe start to extend your right leg straight, and you can use your hand on the top of the thigh to knead the thigh down toward the mat to get a little deeper into that hip flexor. It might feel good to even give your hip flexor a little nudge. You're welcome to stay here, or maybe you extend your left leg straight. This isn't a very long hold. Let's take a few more deep breaths here, half happy baby. Last deep inhale, a long exhale. As you're ready again, bring both knees into your chest, little Apanasana, knees to chest. You're welcome to rock side to side or even forward and back. And we'll come into the twist on the other side, so we'll open our arms the same way that you did last time. So maybe it was cactus, maybe it was in a T shape. Tapping your toes down to lift your hips a little bit to the right side this time. And then your knees come over to the left. And again, you can put a bolster or cushion underneath your left knee, in between your thighs, any way that you see fit. Left hand can come on top of the knees if they're both stacked. Gaze is over top of your right shoulder. You're welcome to stay like this. If you went into a deeper variation last time, just copy that if you can. So it might mean that, see if I have the space here, the bottom leg is straight and the top knee comes across. Or maybe you even extend that top leg and use your hand on the outer foot. If you have that top leg straight, push your outer right hip down toward your bottom heel, toward your left heel. We have lots of deep breaths here. Now as you're inhaling, you're opening up into the right rib cage. There's a deep twist across the belly here. An opening of the chest, the shoulders. In the traditional Yin practice, not necessarily encouraged to use props, more to allow your body to open to any degree that you can. So don't worry if you don't have the props, just do your best. to hold some form of this shape in stillness. You'll find a release over time. The deeper you can breathe, the more equanimous your breath, the slower the pace of the class, the more you'll be able to let go. Important to remember that no two people look the same in a yoga posture. Everybody is different. We all take our own time to realize the pose in our own unique way. When we can let go of that, the shape needs to look a certain way or feel a certain way, I think that's when we really get the benefit of the pose, because we get out of the head and truly into the body. See if you can count your last 8 to 10 deep breaths here on this side with your knees over to the left side, gazing to the right. Take your last couple of breaths here. A deep inhale, a full exhale. And slowly unwind yourself back through center. Might need to realign your hips. We'll come to a half happy baby with the right leg this time. So bring your right elbow on the inside of your right knee. Wrap your right hand around the outer right foot. You feel free to keep that left knee bent. You maybe even will roll to the outer blade of your left foot as you draw your right knee past and down the same direction as your right armpit, even past it toward the mat if you can. Welcome to stay here, or maybe you extend that left leg straight and give your hip flexor a little love by pushing down into it. It might feel a little ticklish or tight. It's quite the tight rubber band there. Or maybe extend your right leg straight. We'll take about 5 deep breaths here. Take your last deep inhale, your full exhale. Slowly again hug your knees into your chest. And this time we'll go for a full happy baby. So knees will come out wide, let your elbows come on the inside of your knees. If you can, reach for the outer edges of your feet. Pull your knees down toward the outer rib cage and press your feet up to the ceiling. And if this is inaccessible for you, you can always hold behind the thighs. At the same time that your feet are pressing up, press them down with your hands and use that leverage to roll your sacral area toward the mat, so away from your belly. You're welcome to stay here. If it feels good to extend your legs, and now both legs are straight, or bend one knee, lift the opposite leg up for a few breaths. Other side as well. So you decide how your happy baby will look. Take about 5 more deep breaths. beautiful posture to try to unfurl the sacrum. Last deep inhale. Sigh out your mouth if you like. Close your knees together. You can rock side to side if you like, or forward and back. Take a few breaths like this. And then you will extend your legs and arms up toward the ceiling, Viparita Karani, for just about 5 or 6 deep breaths. A little transition here. Feel free to roll out your ankles and your wrists. Some of you who come to my class, you know that I love to do this. This is a gigantic couch pillow, but you can use a bolster or any other kind of cushion if you have one. I like to put the bolster on top of my feet and extend my legs up to the ceiling. It's a really good way to flatten out your back. So feel free to try this if you like. Viparita Karani. Three more deep breaths. And also, you probably all know I have little doggies, so I just have to let one out so that they don't bark too much. All right, and as you're ready, you can release that bolster down or come down out of your posture. And we will make our way flat onto our backs. You can take a big stretch. Release your arms over your head. Point your toes. Take a deep inhale. Sigh out your mouth as you exhale. Soften. And then take your time to slowly, least effort possible, roll over onto your belly. And from here, my favorite, I always say this, I have a lot of favorite poses, but one of my favorites is half frog pose. So from this position, we'll start with the left leg, but I'll show it on the right so you can see it better in the camera. Take your left knee out to the left in line with your left hip. Flex your foot so you have a 90-degree angle between your foot and your shin and your thigh, and your thigh and your torso, like a little lightning bolt shape there. Place your palms underneath your forehead. Take a deep breath in and a full breath out, and let your hips soften down toward the mat. And you're welcome to stay just like this. If you would like to turn your gaze to one side, you can. So that's an option. You can take your arms out in a cactus shape if you like, or any other variation. If you turn your head to the right, it's a little bit more restful, still a twist for the neck. It's a little bit more of a twist to turn to the left. So see how that feels as well. We have a nice long hold here, so get comfortable, sustainable. Let both of the hip points try to push down into the mat if you can. So a little bit of urgency of letting the hips spread open. And then relax. If you would like to add in a little shoulder opener, you can slide your it will be your right arm underneath your left arm. You might need a little block or a cushion for your temple, and you can extend your left arm forward. I think I might have confused you when I talked about the twisting of the head. So if your head is twisted to the right side, it will be more intense for you, and to the left it might be more easeful. So just in case you were confused by that. Wherever you are, stay connected to your breath. Notice that there is a lot of tightness, tension in the hips right now. Our first and second chakra, Muladhara chakra and Svadhisthana, these two base chakras are very challenged right now by the situation that we're in, where really our foundation has been rocked. What we have relied on, what we have thought to be our established patterns and habits in life very much have been forced to change, and there's a lot of instability. So if you feel a lot of emotions coming up right now, it's natural. Just breathe with them, stay with them, let them release. See if you can count off about 8 more breaths here. There's one last little layer to this pose. If you have the right arm threaded under and you would like to open up the left arm, then you're in a little bit of a deeper twist, or a lot of a deeper twist, kind of similar to the first twist that we did, but more in a big cross shape. So both arms open, left knee draped across, right leg is straight. Take your last breath there, and then slowly turn yourself all the way onto your belly completely, both legs straight. Feel free to take your palms under your forehead again, forehead straight down this time. Bend your knees, windshield wiper your legs side to side. There's something that I really like to do here. It's a little bit of a massage for the pelvis. If you take your knees wide, bring your big toes together to touch up in the air, palms underneath your shoulders, right beside your chest. And you'll rock back and forth a few times, like pushing into your palms. Let yourself come into child pose. Press into your hands again, pull yourself forward onto the belly. Take an inhale breath. Push yourself all the way back again, toes touch down, hips to heels. Exhale, press into your hands, pull yourself back to the belly, and then you can release down again. And as you're ready, take your right knee out to the right, in line with your right hip, flex your foot, so I'll do it on the proper side this time. Forehead can remain down, try to get the 90-degree angles there so your leg and torso are kind of like a lightning bolt shape. If you turn your gaze to the right, it will be more easeful. To the left, a little bit more of a twist. You're welcome to stay as you are here. If you added in the arm thread last time, your left arm will come underneath your right. You might need a little pillow for your temple. Maybe your right arm is extended. You're welcome to stay like this, or with your forehead straight down. Keep coming back to your breath, to your intentions, your dedication.
deep gratitude for this benevolent act, this act of total self-love, no expectation of any outcome, and just being with yourself here in this moment, but knowing that how you better yourself through your yoga practice positively affects all the people around you. And you can give to yourself, you can give to others. There's so many beautiful benevolent acts happening right now. If there is some silver lining to this, it's really shown the incredible heart of humanity. How much people are willing to do to help one another. You're welcome to continue in this shape. Take about 10 more breaths. If you would like to open up that top arm, and roll more onto your back so you have a cross shape with your arms. Your right knee is draped across, your left leg is straight, your chest facing up to the ceiling. Feel free to go here. Last few breaths in either of the variations. And as you're ready, you'll make your way all the way back down onto your belly. Bringing your hands again underneath your forehead. Feel free to windshield wiper your legs side to side. And then release the tops of your feet down. Bring your palms to the tops of your mat with your elbows directly in line with your palms. And number 11, shoulder distance apart. Find Sphinx pose. Now you're welcome to take a cushion underneath the belly. This one might be a little bit big, but it's actually a nice soft cushion I've discovered since doing linear yoga. So you might want to prop yourself up here with a bit of a cushion and find a little bit of hugging in of the elbows towards your hips. And this pose isn't held as long as some of the other poses, Sphinx pose. If it feels like it's a lot to keep your head up, you're welcome to stack a block under your forehead as well, or any other kind of props that you might have. And there's a rooting down of the hips, of the pelvis, and lifting forward and up of the chest. So try to capture that momentum if you can, that movement forward and up. Finding back bend here, bit of a heart lengthener and opener. hugging those elbows towards your hips. Keep lengthening the chest forward. Even if your forehead is down, there's still a pulling forward and up of the heart. The stimulation of Manipura chakra, the third chakra. This is really where our truth lies, our self. And getting in touch with that. And if you'd like, you can stay or move into a little bit more of an extension. Spread your fingertips wide to the top corners of your mat. Push into your palms and lift your heart for seal pose. If it feels good, you can even take your legs wider, bend your knees, toes together touching like we were just doing in that child pose. And see if you could guide the back of your head toward your toes. You might even walk your hands in a little closer to your hips. Maybe look all the way up past the tops of your eyes toward your third eye, Ajna chakra, your intuition, your inner knowing. Last few breaths. Last deep inhale. Exhale. And then we'll slowly release. We'll make our way into child pose. So if you have a big cushion like this, you have to push yourself up and over it and take your time to ease yourself back, hips to heels. Toes can be touching, knees can be wide or together. So be a little bit of a hold here in child pose. We'll have some little things that we can do to add onto it if you like. So start with your arms extended forward. Tent your fingertips, lift your arm bones up, and melt your heart down. Walk your hands up and over to the right side of your mat, all the way off your mat maybe. Pull your hips back to the left, and try to keep your arm bones lifted as you relax your forehead between your arms. If you need, you can always relax the palms and arms down. Then breathe into the left side of your rib cage. And one more deep inhale here. A full exhale. And then walk your hands, your tented fingertips, arm bones lifted all the way over to the left side. Maybe all the way off your mat. Try to keep your fingers tented, arm bones lifted. Pull your hips to the right as you let your head relax between your arms. If you need to, you can flatten your palms and relax your arms down. And breathing into the right side of your body, ballooning out the rib cage on your inhale. Softening your hips back on the exhale. Inhale, walk your hands back through center. You're welcome to stay. You can release your arms beside you, or if you want to come into a variation of Anahatasana, bring your palms together to touch, thumbs to the nape of your neck. Elbows walk forward and pull your heart down. You're welcome to stay with Anahatasana, or for the last minute of the pose, if you would like to release your arms beside your body, maybe close your knees together if they're wide, forehead down. 5 more deep breaths. Last deep, deep inhale. Sigh out your mouth, exhale. Maybe one more because it feels so good. Inhale. And sigh out your mouth, exhale. Any way you like, release your arms. Either come up to tabletop or downward dog. When you're pedaling out your feet or your legs, if you're in tabletop, pushing one leg out behind you, stretching out your heel. Our next posture will be sleeping swan. So either from tabletop or downward dog, guide your left knee forward to the front of your mat into the center. Toes a little bit out to the side or underneath your hips if you have tight hamstrings and tight hips. And slide your right knee back as far as you can. If you want to come to deer pose, you'll bring your right knee behind your left foot. And then you'll lower yourself down. So if you're in deer pose, you might want to lower in between your thighs. You're welcome to use a bolster or cushion. If you want to come into sleeping swan, you'll extend your, to catch a doggy here, you'll extend your right leg back behind you. Yeah, there. And then wherever you are, bolster or not, it's up to you, maybe even a block under your forehead. Allow the hips to penetrate down into the mat. If you are interested to use a bolster and you're in deer pose, something that's nice is to lay forward in the same direction as your hips. Turn your gaze to one side. It's also nice from deer pose to come into a twist, so take the bolster to the left side and lay down toward the left. Either gazing to the right is more easeful, to the left a little bit more challenging. But not to the point of pushing, just for release. I'll go for sleeping swan. Finding any arm variations that work for you. I love this pose, sleeping swan. It's like a prostration, a bowing down, really a bowing in. An offering of energy. Forgot to offer, but if for some reason this is not accessible for you, you probably know it already because we've been already doing it for a couple minutes, but you can lie onto your back and thread the needle. So here's the supine option of pigeon pose or sleeping swan. So if you're struggling to hold that on your mat, then get onto your back. Let's take our last 10 deep breaths. Noticing any place there might be a little bit of extra tension, especially if you're in sleeping swan, you can rock a little bit side to side. Just nudge any extra emotions you might be holding on to out of the way. Last couple of breaths. When you're ready to release, your palms will come underneath your shoulders, either to push back to downward dog, maybe lift that leg up and give it a shake, or some hip circles, or open it up, bend your knee. If you're in tabletop, stretch that left leg back, rock your toes back and forth. And take the next couple of breaths to make your way to the other side. So your right knee will come forward this time. Left leg will extend behind for sleeping swan. The more you take your foot out from underneath you, the deeper this will be. If you want to come to deer pose, you can slide your left knee behind your right foot and lean forward between your knees or out to the side for that twist. And now I'll remember to demonstrate that on your back, you can do a supine sleeping swan. So right foot crossed over the left thigh for this side. And again, remembering, even if you try to go deeper, it's not to the point of trying to get to some final destination of this pose. It's really only for you to release just that bit more without the efforting or the pushing. This is a really, truly a benevolent practice, the practice of Yin. It's a slow, deep release. It's really an act of self-love. And it's really through these acts of self-love that we can find the energy in ourselves to give to others. So really important in this time, especially if you're someone doing a lot of giving, and many of us are, that you give back to yourself. I'm so happy when I see so many people doing the Yin practices that I've been posting online. That really means that people are taking good care of their bodies. I'm also happy when I see people doing power, of course, too. And I'll keep sharing these practices as long as we can't meet together in person. I'll keep posting them online on Facebook and on YouTube, and I hope that you share them with people in your lives that you feel might need them as well. You can practice together virtually. See if we can take about 8 more deep breaths here. Anytime over the next few breaths that you're ready to release, again, you'll push down into your hands, slide back into tabletop or downward dog, maybe lifting that right leg up, give it a stretch or some hip circles, or maybe bend your knee. If you're in tabletop, stretching that, especially that right leg out back behind you. We'll have one final pose here together before I let you take your own Shavasana, which I hope you have your pajamas on for, and it lasts you for about 10 hours. We'll take our last pose, which will be caterpillar pose, a seated forward fold. And this is a nice way to realign the hips and relax the heart. Move the flesh around your seat from side to side. Feel free to sit up onto a little cushion or a soft block if you have one, or even any block to elevate the hips, especially if you have tight hamstrings. Also, you can put something underneath your thighs if you need, behind your knees. Sit up nice and tall to begin. Inhale, reach up. And cascade forward as you exhale, fold over your thighs. Take a moment to lengthen halfway, and then let yourself release. Feel free to use a pillow underneath your chest or any cushions. And let the back of your heart round, the whole back line of your body stretching from your heels all the way up your legs, over your spine, over the crown of your head to your forehead. All of this representing the back line of your body, your past, your experiences. If there's anything there that feels like a burden that you've been carrying that you need to let go, take a few big sighs out your mouth and let it go. Just a few more breaths here. Last big breath. Inhale. Take your time to slowly roll your body up. Prepare for Shavasana, maybe sliding the cushion underneath your thighs. Maybe finding a little pillow for behind your head. Maybe you have a nice blanket that you can wrap over your feet, your legs, or even your whole body. Make yourself comfortable. Let this be the most benevolent act of your day, a total act of self-love, of surrender, giving to yourself so that you have the capacity and the energy to give to others in the way that we've all been giving. Thank you so much for sharing your amazing energy in every way that you have been, for sharing your energy with me this evening and all of us that are here. Please enjoy your Shavasana for as long as you like. I humbly bow to the light in you, to the light in me. Namaste.